Canada gets Morocco now. We found that out yesterday, too. This is going to be, the toughest test that they have faced yet. A top 10 ranked team in the world, too, when it comes to the FIFA rankings. What are you expecting? Because, again, you saw what happened with Paraguay against Germany, too, yesterday, that the upset is possible, that it is there. What does Canada, in your mind, have to do on Saturday to get a big win?
Well, let me tell you, Matt, we've done so well to get to this stage. We will have to be at our absolute very best to beat this Moroccan side. They are African champions. They are the structure that they have within their country is fantastic. I believe they're under 20 Euro champions as well. You just see the intensity. I thought last night's game with the Netherlands and Morocco was the best game of the tournament so far. The passion, the aggression that both teams played with was fabulous. From the first whistle to the last, I called it big boys football last night. The national team are going to have to play big boys football on Saturday morning time out here in BC. But we're capable of doing it. We're capable of causing an upset. We have some world-class players. They cannot leave anything on this pitch on Saturday, or it could be a heavy defeat. That's how highly I rate this Morocco team.
How do you think Jesse Marsch is feeling after watching that, watching the intensity of Morocco as well, staying in it right until the very end, pulling off the win? Do you think Marsch's anxiety is a little high right now?
I think it was probably exactly as he expected. Anxiety, maybe a little bit more, but I think he saw in person a team that was high quality. They were dominant. They had control of the match, especially when the Dutch decided to sit back. But the good thing, and what Jesse Marsch is feeling very high on, is the fact that this match went to 120 minutes, extra time, and then into penalties. So that's physically and mentally demanding. But to your question about Canada, can they match this intensity that we saw in the round of 32 match, which could have very well been a semifinal in any other World Cup? That's what it offered. But I think Canada can. But can they match their quality? And can Canada sustain that type of intensity? That's a little bit different. So, but the principles that we saw with Morocco and this intensive, aggressive style are akin to the foundational tenets of Marsch's very own system: athletic, aggressive, physical, pacey. And the Dutch figured it out with a really combative approach until they sat back, as I mentioned, and allowed Morocco to dictate completely. But I think inspiration might also lie in like the caginess, the cynicism that we saw with Paraguay slaying a giant versus Germany. But the reality of this fixture, and Ollie, you can speak to this as well, it's a knockout match. Anything can happen in knockout football. And with everything on the line, can Canada be suffocating and aggressive, but also belligerent and organized, and absorb that pressure, gain power, and then apply it and pick their spots, be it pressure or going quick and vertical on the counterattack? I think that's where the keys to the match lie.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Canada, look, they've got a chance. They're here for a reason. You certainly don't write them off. But I think this is going to be an incredibly difficult game. Like, I love this Morocco team. I won't love them on Saturday, but the rest of the time, I've really enjoyed watching them at this tournament. And I think if they do get the edge over Canada, in this game, obviously you'd expect them to play France next, which will be a massive test, but you wouldn't rule them out. I think they're that good. This may not be like a traditional powerhouse, obviously, that's won a World Cup or been deep on many occasions before 2022. But now that this is a top 10 team in the world for me, I don't think there's much doubt about that with the quality they've got at all positions. Like Amy touched on, they're fast, they're athletic, but they've also got some brilliant technical players, players who are crafty in tight spaces, more powerful players in open spaces with great quality, striking the ball. Defensively, they're strong. They've got dynamic players from every single position. They're deep. Really understand how good this Morocco team is. So just a massive task in front of Canada this weekend.
Ollie, against a team like Morocco, do you just continue playing Marsch ball? Does he have to make any kind of tactical adjustments with other teams that we've also seen so far in this World Cup doing that when they know they're going up against a powerhouse?
Yeah, honestly, I think to a certain extent they have to manage this game. They have to try and slow it down in moments. I know that's not Canada's natural inclination, but I think right now if Canada tries to get into a track meet with these guys, I don't think they're going to have a good day. I think they could find it really difficult. And maybe if you're talking about a full strength Canadian team, you could try and play that way and go toe-to-toe with them. I do think Canada's a major underdog. And so this game at times is going to be about surviving, staying in it, and trying to find your moments to punch.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, if Ollie, you saying if they try to get into a track meet with Morocco, they're going to lose and might also be embarrassed. I don't think that's the approach that they're taking. It's not foundational to how they're approaching this match. But I would just like to say, over the course of this World Cup, throughout the group stage, and then even in the round of 32 match versus South Africa, they've made history, but have we seen the true identity of this team? Like up until they made substitutions, like maybe the first 70 minutes versus South Africa. So you need a heavy dose of pragmatism when you're entering this match, but also a check-in and a return to that identity. And you need much more quality on the ball and the speed of play. You saw that in the moments that Canada had versus South Africa, where you found the space between the lines, you found that vertical pass, but then it was the first touch that was letting them down, or maybe the choice of footwear on that SoFi turf, but the ball was stuck under their feet at that point. So I don't think you need to stray too far from what has brought you success over the 2 years under Marsh, but clearly there are some tweaks that you have to make when you know you're facing such a formidable opponent like Morocco.
And I think that's another reason why Jesse Marsh gets asked about that a lot, because I don't think we've really seen a lot of tweaks either in the past, which I think when Jesse Marsh had said, you want to be true to your identity, but you also want to adjust to the opponent, because while Canada has so much momentum, they truly do. Inspiration, as we mentioned, Morocco have lost just 2 matches in their last 57. They're on a 32 unbeaten streak. That's just to put some things into perspective here.